News, Covington County. This is Bob Chavis sitting in Eddie Lewis's chair here at WKNI TV here in Andalusia, Alabama. We've swapped positions today. Eddie has done this to me. Mr. Reese has done this. So I get the opportunity to say good morning.
Good morning, Bob. Glad to see you this morning.
Glad to see you.
Thank you for inviting me down here.
You know something? Thank you for coming down here. The total different setup here today, and it's a special day for me, and I take this as an honor to be here at the city of Eddie. Eddie's a very special person in my life, my family's life, and I know he's special here in this county, in this community, for faithful service to this television station. So this is special for me.
Well, it's special for me. I've never sat in this couch except when I'm talking to people or relaxing or off the set. So you are the very first person to have the opportunity to sit over there and talk to me about me. And we're going to talk about you too. I mean, the whole thing. I made an earlier announcement when we were in the newscast that we've got some great news coming our way.
You know, that was, I know what's coming. You know, we've been praying about it. There's some great things coming out that's going to be established and will launch right here from Andalusia that people have no idea about. But I have been anxious to ask Eddie some questions about himself, you know, his life here, and some of the things that he says on air. You know, it's really important to wonder, you know, there's some words and phrases that you say.
Well, I'd like to have an opportunity to give a testimony today of where this came about and how this came about. Because people sit there and they know bits and pieces, and you know how it gets out there in the rumor mills and stuff. Well, Eddie's this or Eddie's that, or WKNI done this or WKNI done that.
Right.
Now here's an opportunity, okay, for, how do you say, to get it all spilled out there.
You know, it's funny that Eddie, and I promise you, this is nothing scripted. There's nothing.
You should have seen the look on his face when I sat over here. He said, "No, what are you doing?"
I didn't know what quite to do, and I said, "I don't like this. You're in my seat, and this kind of feels weird." But it is certainly, it's unusual. But I'm going to tell you something. It's an honor.
Well, it's an honor to have you here, Bob. You've become a very good friend of Teresa and I. Let me clear the record, okay? Until I sat over here, Teresa had no clue that I was doing this.
I saw the look on her face. She was like, "Oh, what is fixing to take place here today?"
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something.
But she knows after 38 years, anything's bound to happen. So
isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. He has asked questions of my heart and everything else here. You know, we know about my business here. We know how we operate. But he was asking me personal questions, you know, about spiritual things and things that are so important in my personal life and my family's life, which I've shared here in the air. But, you know, I've been asking Eddie for a long time. I've heard him say this phrase, keep it real, keep God in it. And I just said, you know, off the camera one time, I said, what's the deal? Then I actually called him cold here one day. I said, I want to ask you, and this is live television. I want to ask you, what do you mean by that? I mean, where are you? Where'd it come from?
it's not that easy to go right into and explain, because we're talking about it's come about over a number of years.
Well, I know the owner of this station, and I could probably get you some extra time if we need it. So if you can work with me, I can.
You like that, don't you?
I love that right here.
He's using my words.
Yes, I'm using his word.
This is weird, I'm telling you. Sitting over here and not knowing what you're going to ask.
The only thing is you're missing Jim over here today.
Yeah, hello, Jim. And I got to say hi to Jim.
We're going to get a picture of Jim to put right here.
Oh, we'll get a mannequin. Okay?
Oh, man.
Don't have to worry about a hairpiece. But,
wait till he gets a whiff of this thing.
oh, well, anyway.
You're not going to give Jim a hard time about all his hair.
I love Jim.
Oh,
Jim is a good guy.
He is a good man.
He's got a good heart, and y'all are great people. I mean,
Thank you.
You know, it's hard to consider you customers. And Teresa, you know, Teresa goes out when we have clients and things. She explains to them, just like you're not aware of this, but two of our customers are in the hospital, in and out of the hospital this past week. And first it was her husband, Mr. Charles Grace, who owns Amazing Grace up in Dozier Restaurant. And he was having some issues with blood clots, and he was in a bad shape last week. He gets out, and Patricia Grace, who is his wife of many, many years, I'm not going to say, more than me and Teresa, and But they're great people, great food. And she's in the hospital with pancreatitis. And let me tell you something, I know what that pancreatitis is. And it is painful, it's scary, it's life-threatening. There's no kidding about it. You can die from it, and they can't treat it. It's all done, you know, through starvation and through painkillers, and they give you lots of antibiotics, but the antibiotics is just to keep any, you know, inflammation down of infection. So I'm asking everybody, please keep the Grace family in prayer, and bring them to lift up before God, because you know what, our God, He's bigger than this.
Man, you're not kidding. You know,
And,
we talk so much, and I think that where our, you know, the common thing between us is the Word.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Obviously, and what the Word is brought us together as Christian brothers and friends to be something special. And we had no idea, because Jim was coming up here before I even showed up.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
I mean, and I never even had any.
We met you at the old studio.
Yes.
Yep.
And Jim said,
that little building that we had.
Yes. And so it was special. You know, I didn't have any idea what was going on, and Jim said, "Man, this guy up here, he just wings it." I said, "Yeah." I said, "What you mean?" I said, "It's him and his wife, and they just wing it, man. Whatever goes on." How I said, "Man, come on now." He said, "What are we supposed to talk about?" He says, "Well, we'll talk." It was like just like today. It's real,
Right.
you know,
And that's, you know, that's how we know we're doing the right thing is, and we've talked about it off camera so many times, and just a little while ago, Satan, when you're doing it right, boy, he loves kicking it. When you're keeping it real, okay, Satan loves to get in there and just get in the mix and try to confuse things and cause stress and worries.
You know, it's when you're saying this, it's you know, people don't realize we're not physical. Everybody thinks we're physical creatures in the spirit and with spiritual world, with spiritual warfare, but we're spiritual creatures in the physical world.
That's right.
It's the opposite. I did a little bit of studying about the opposites, how they work. You know, if you're on the right, if you're doing the right thing, you're going to have resistance, and people, you know, people are used, and they're going to try to hurt you.
Well, I like to go back to the movie Fallen with Denzel Washington. Okay, I don't know if you remember that movie or not, but you know, Denzel was chasing the demons around all the time, and what they were doing was getting in other people, and the other people would do things that normally they would not do. Okay, and Satan had possession of that individual to shoot somebody, to hurt somebody, to whatever, and as soon as that person was either caught or killed, it would pass on to another person that was close by. And at the end, he was walking down the street and just brushing elbows, the demon passed from one to the other.
Well,
people don't know what they do when they get to this. Some people will sit there and go, "I never did that." And they're right. They never done it because it was the demon or the Satan that was involved, the spiritual. See, that you hit it nail on the head, brother, when you said spiritual.
That is.
Okay? And our whole life on this earth is because we're supposed to get our spiritual well-being in line.
Man.
And we've got to do that.
You're talking to my heart now.
Yeah. But
people don't realize when all them demons fell, they went somewhere, and they ain't left.
That's right.
And the only way a demon can do any works against you, I tell you this, I've got a statement to say. You know how you talking about? Nobody has ever seen a demon. You know why? Because they're inside people. They can't do their works unless they're inside somebody. That's when Jesus was taught to possess man, and he was going to cast. He says, "Have you come to torture us early, Son of God, Most High?"
Yep.
And he said that. And he spoke to them, and they didn't want to be cast in the abyss. They were cast in the pigs, so they have to be in something. And the pigs would turn crazy. They wanted to die instead of having the demons that ran off in the water.
Yep.
Man, some people makes you. I wonder. Put a lake around here. You know?
Well, you know, it's not just. I want to get back. You asked me the question, keeping it real. If you're keeping it real, okay, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about, what you're talking about. Because what does God ask us to do? Above all commandments that he placed here.
Yeah.
What did he say? He said, love your neighbor as yourself. And that's key, keeping it real. If you can love yourself or love your neighbor as yourself,
Yes.
okay, then even if there are demons there, you're supposed to love your enemy. You're supposed to love those that come up against you.
Hurt you.
That's right. The ones that hurt you, the ones, people say, oh, come on, Eddie, you can't be real about this. You mean that guy that went over here and molested a child, or that person that robbed a bank or killed somebody? Yes, we're supposed to show love, okay?
You know.
And that's what separates, that's what separates keeping it real, because that's the hard thing. Can you imagine, let me ask you a question, Bob. Did Jesus, when he walked the 3 years on this earth, okay, that he done his ministry, okay, did he walk into a church to where people were praying and having a great time and have a belief, or was he out there among people, okay, among the prostitutes, among the tax collectors, the murderers? Where was he at?
Well, he was he came to save the ones that were sick, save the ones that were lost.
Yeah.
And the only time that Jesus had a hard time was with the religious people.
That's right.
Yeah.
And see, key word, religious people.
Oh yeah.
All right, there's a key word there. And I'm explaining to you what keep it real is, okay? So if I am keeping it real, then I'm walking in Christ, okay?
Oh.
If I'm walking in Christ, I'm not out here at the churches, okay, every Sunday going out and trying to save those that are already saved.
That's right.
Okay? I'm out and about on this TV station. I'm out and about sharing with people, okay, about God.
That's right.
Okay? And they may be saved. And if they are, God, man, we have a great time. Not end a conversation, a continued, beautiful, blossoming conversation. And that's keeping it real, because, see, Christ didn't hide in a building. Christ didn't hide behind the Word. He was out there. He was doing it. And now, keep it real, okay? Look at Paul.
Man, Paul was.
Okay? Look at
something,
Paul, all right? You sit there and you go, Paul kept it real.
Paul was
Paul
real
knew
deal,
what was coming up on him.
You're right.
You know, Christ knew what was coming up on him. God, when Christ was on the cross, he kept it real to the very end.
Yeah.
He said, it is done. It is finished. Okay?
Wow.
It is finished. No more sin. You don't have to die of sin. You now have grace through the blood of Christ. So that's keeping it real. If you keep that in perspective, don't worry about what others, Bob, people say things about me every day that aren't true. Okay? They say it about you too. They say it about y'all out there. All right? And it hurts. And you sit there and you go, why would somebody say that? Why would somebody do that? I didn't do that. Okay? Or they make up stories to make you look uncredible. All right? The reason is that person, whether or not they carry a Bible, whether or not if they carry a Bible, they're going against the Word of God by doing that, because you're not supposed to speak badly of another man.
Well, first of all, if you're using the word wrongly, it's manipulation. It's the sin of witchcraft.
That's right.
So you better be careful what you're doing, and you're right about that. I mean, but I've been with you in the community. I know what you do.
Well, you know, to sit there, and I take it personal, Bob, okay, to a point, because God is personal to me, but he's for everybody. He's just not my God. He's your God, and he's available to you. And you know, there's a picture up here on the wall that we have behind the preachers when they do the services on I don't know, Teresa, if you go to the wide shot, you might be able to see it up there. There it is, all the way over there. It's a picture of Christ knocking on the door, okay? Christ is there for us. All we have to do is open the door, okay? People get excited with rumors and innuendos. They get into this thing that they're powerful and get energy from what somebody else said. Oh yeah, that person's a awful person, or that person's done this, that person's this, and that person's that, and they build and build and build, and they get peers and they get you know, and it gets ugly. It's you know what I call it?
Well, you may tell you something. You got good company that did the same to Jesus.
Well, let me stop now. That's Tower Babylon that I'm building. Okay? All right? I'm building the Tower Babylon with all these people stacking on top of each other, bringing up the negative things in life. See, my God wasn't negative. Neither was your God. My God spoke life. My God spoke eternity. Okay? He did not sit there and say, you know what? You're a dead person. You don't do nothing. You're worthless. Okay? You're a liar. You're this. You're that. My God said, I can be all of that, and I can ask in His name and be forgiven. Okay? Yeah. And I'm getting goosebumps, brother. I'm telling you.
It's all in here.
And thank you, Jesus. And folks, you know what? I'm not going to pity Eddie. Okay? I've been doing this for 10 years. Through the grace of God, WKNI TV has been on the air 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. And I have been called everything from Jerry Springer to and I deserve that sometimes now. Back in the old day,
Back in the old days.
I did. Back in the old day, I was colorful. Let's just say that. And I learned, okay, and I have apologized and asked forgiveness from each and every person that I may have wronged. But there comes a time in a community, and I started seeing this community, and people, I'm not from here. I don't have family here. I have no roots going back to where people can say, oh, yeah, you know, that's Eddie. That's, you know, Eddie's family, or, you know, he comes from there. What I have is the 17 years that Teresa and I have been in Alabama. And I consider it home, okay? I get discouraged once in a while, but I consider it home. And in that 17 years, I have seen a pattern of if you're, and I'm not, folks, I'm not crying for, God's powerful. I'm not worried about any of this. I'm just sharing with you. You asked.
Oh, I want to know.
Okay?
I've been
I'm
asking.
keeping it real, okay? I drove a truck when I first came to Alabama. I drove for Pull truck lines out of Evergreen, okay? Then I went to work for R&D driving a truck. I went to, after R&D, I went to work for a private guy out of Georgiana driving a flatbed. Then I drove log trucks, and then I drove my own trucks. I bought 3 hot shot trucks and hauled vans and stuff. And then somehow or another I'll be honest with you, I don't remember how I got into broadcast. But it was the furthest thing from my mind. But God, I kept asking God, why'd you place me here? Yeah. Why am I in Alabama? I was in Orlando, Florida. Okay?
That's a happening place right there.
It's happening. I can be working anywhere. I can be doing anything. Nobody knows who I am. Okay? I can walk down the street and oh, I remember you on Facebook. Ain't none of that.
Yeah.
Okay? But, and I got to share this. This is keeping it real. Okay? All right? Folks, in a small community such as this, in our area, if you went outside to Montgomery, Jacksonville, Florida, Tallahassee, Atlanta, Nashville, bigger communities, Facebook doesn't mean anything to anybody. Yeah. You know, it's a way to socialize, and they have their little, groups together that they have. I use it for high school alumni, okay? A lot of people use it for that. A lot of people use it for family.
My wife uses it for family. She puts pictures of our children and stuff on her the Facebook, where we have family up in South Carolina. We have some in Mobile. We have some in Panama City, which we were just visiting, so they can see the pictures, done pictures of our children.
Right.
That's what it was
That's
designed
what we did
for.
with Billy when he was in Afghanistan. We were able to swap pictures and videos back and forth online. Bob, in this community, and it's a shame, and I'm keeping it real, Facebook is used to tear apart people and businesses in this community.
Well,
and it's by a handful, okay, that I feel are good people in heart of spirit. Okay, I think each and every one of these people that get out there and say negative things of the community and businesses and what things are going on, I think, again, I go back to fallen. If they would just get out and allow keeping it real with God just one day. Get real with God for one day. One day. Give God the opportunity to fill inside you and let him see you inside. You will see yourself inside.
Amen. You're right.
And you won't speak death into this community. You'll speak life into this community. And that is what I have tried to do over the past years with WKNI. And now I did do, hey, Eddie was not the greatest person when I first started this station, okay?
Well, you have forgiveness, you have grace.
I do, and I made my mistakes, but one thing is I told the truth. And sometimes the truth is powerful.
It hurts too,
and
but
yes.
that's okay.
So that's keeping it real, okay? Keeping it real by focusing where God is, okay? If you focus where God is, people see it in you. I listened to a preacher yesterday at church. He sat there and he said he was at Walmart standing in an aisle. I can't do that here because everybody knows me, okay? But standing in the aisle, the guy didn't know him, and he walked up, and the preacher was looking for something on a shelf, and the guy was in front of him, and the guy stepped back and said, "Oh, am I in your way?" And the preacher said, "Oh, no, you're fine. I really don't know what I'm looking for right now. I'm just kind of looking around." He said, "You sure?" He said, "I can move." He said, "No, you're fine. You're fine." And the guy walked away and went around the other side. A couple minutes later, he came back, looked at the preacher, and he said, "You're a Christian, aren't you?"
Wow. Showed up, didn't it?
It showed, okay? And see,
stunned.
And this is what I've been trying to tell folks and preachers in the community. Heck, y'all have your churches. I'm not trying to get in your church and run anything. I'm not trying to get on television, preach about God any other way than what the gospel says to do. I want the truth, the keeping it real. And that man shined, all right? When that, and then he went looking for the guy, and he couldn't find him in the whole store. So there you go. Could that have been an angel?
Could have been. The Bible says we will host angels.
That's right.
And not even know it. You know, when you were talking that way, and I've always asked you questions, why aren't you used as a tool? And I'm about using things for the kingdom. We're meant to, I'm a tool, you're a tool.
Right.
We're meant to be used. And, the Bible says, one day we'll all know who each other are. And all the spirits will be born, actually be showed to one another, to what's in us. But, if you can't be good to your neighbor, and the only way you can serve God is to serve another person.
And that's, you hit the nail on the head, brother.
It's a real thing.
People, I went to this church on Sunday, yesterday, and they asked me to come back and preach next Sunday. And I was honored, okay?
I love that word, honored.
Yeah, and I sat there, and it caught me off guard, okay? I went back to visit this church that we'd gone to months ago, and they're, they at the end of the services, they came up and asked me if I would mind coming in next Sunday. And I sat there and I said, yeah. I says, that's wonderful, okay? And I'm sitting there going in my head back and forth, and I'm going, okay, God, what just happened? And he said, you're serving me.
Yeah.
Okay? Not you, me. And I went outside and I was talking to a couple of the folks out there that have been there forever in the church. It's a family church. That's how these churches are here. They're mostly, 2, 3, 4, 5 families that have a church that the whole family for generations has been going to. Mm-hmm. Okay? And you got to be real careful, okay? Because you're not part of that blood family.
Well, if you're part of the family of Christ, you're part of the blood of Jesus.
That's where I was going.
And the only blood that matters is the blood of his veins, and it should be in the blood of your veins.
That's right.
They asked Christ, who are my brothers, who are my sisters? They said, well, your brother and your sisters outside. And he says, you are my brother and you're my sister.
And folks, It was brought to my attention yesterday by one individual and sat there and said, well, we appreciate you taking the time to come over here and serve us.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I said, let me explain this clearly. I'm serving God. I'm serving God, and by serving God, I'm serving you,
That's
and then
exactly
vice versa,
right.
serving you, you're serving God.
That's exactly right.
Okay, and see, here's where the confusion is. I got to back up just a little bit, keeping it real. All right, as true warriors of God, we cannot get in the mix of confusion and, how do you say it, negative things, okay? We can't carry on rumors, innuendos, or attacking people as Christians. We can't make ourselves into a group or mingle with a group that is one-sided and not about God. See, you can be all about God, but you can't be about God and then talking bad about somebody, okay?
No.
You're not that preacher that was in Walmart that man walked around and just happened to have that
Well,
conversation.
that's when you're just religious then. At that
That's
moment.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, you can Bible thump, I call it Bible thumping, all day long, and one negative word out of your mouth will speak more than that entire Bible does.
It sure will, because people will grab it and they'll hold on to it.
Yeah, I can go out here and hey folks, I'll admit I make mistakes, okay? I have done things, I have made, you know, I'm not the brightest light bulb in the bunch. But you know, when I make a mistake, one, it's an honest mistake, okay? It's not something that I said, hey, I'm planning to make this mistake. I do not like mistakes. My wife tells me I'm almost a obsessive person about making sure we get things done.
You know, wait a minute. That's term used a lot. But for a Christian man, it's called a spirit of excellence. It's not excessive compulsive. Excessive compulsive, a lot of times that is used for the lazy people that don't want to get up and do something. So they call the ones, A personalities, the ones that want to get something done, we're called excessive compulsive or anal. I take it as a compliment personally.
Well,
It's a compliment.
somebody calls me a Christian and I smile.
Hey,
You
guess
know,
what?
and Bob, there's a lot of love in this community. All right, I'm going to share something with you. I don't know if I told you about it yet or not. I read a story on Thursday, and this is from the AP Wire. And we pay a fee every month to get stories from AP, and there's 3 different services that we get, but we pay a service so we can pull news off of their feeds. And on those feeds that we get, there's some unusual news, I guess is what it's called. You know, there's a menu, and it has, you know, current news, local news, state news, yada, and it goes all the way down. And then it has odd or something like that news. And I, once in a while, click on it. And I clicked on it, and I was very saddened. This is a study that was done by Gallup and another company that does polls and things like that. They took the 2010 census, and out of all 50 states, they came up with the happiest state and the saddest states, the angriest states, people that are angry and sad. Folks, I'm here to tell you, that list, Alabama was number 4.
Wow.
Number 4. Okay, are you ready? The Bible Belt, number 4. We're in the Black Belt, number 4. Okay, guess which side?
What? Tell me.
The angriest and most unhappiest.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
Man.
We walk around, Teresa and I, and we just see people just not smiling, not being happy about things, and I just so want to, and I try, when I see that, I can't smile all the time. I'm going to be honest, I can't. But I try, when I see somebody not happy, I try to smile and project that it's okay. It's okay to smile.
Yeah.
You know, you ask me, what is keeping it real? That's it.
That's it.
Okay? Keeping it real, because you know what? This isn't about life today. You're not going to take a penny you earned. You're not going to take a car you bought. You're not going to take a home you have. You're not going to take the friends you've got or the family you got. When you're dead, you're either going one or two places, heaven or hell.
Yeah.
And that's for eternity. Not 60 years,
That's
not
real.
50 years. That's real. And my God is real. And by keeping it real, I'm what? Keeping God in it.
Keeping God in it. Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
a lot of things came to me sitting down and coming up with that keeping it real, keep God in it. Because people, I'm not trying to make a cliche, hey, that's that guy that says keep it real, keep God in it. I want the people out there to go, that's real, keeping God in it.
Yeah.
How much more real? People, how much more real can it get than you got God? It can't get any more real than that. When you sit down with the Word and read the Word of God, it can't get any more real than that.
Yeah. You're right about that. Hey, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a minister, I'm not an evangelist, I'm no position in the church. But I'm going to tell you something, people. I'm none of these. I'm just a normal guy, but that's real. And that's what I need in my life. That's what we all need.
Yeah. Well, I love, my support, okay, besides the Word of God, okay, and the Holy Ghost, because that Holy Ghost, just like He's right here right now with us, but my wife, okay, is my strength when I'm down, and I sit there and I go, why, baby? Why do people want to talk about me? I don't talk. You go on my Facebook page, you go out and you hear me out talking to people. I don't speak death.
Yeah.
I don't print death.
Well,
I speak life.
that's what's inside you, though. You need to understand this. People need to understand. What's inside your heart comes out.
Right.
So if you have hatred in your heart, hatred comes out. You have life in your heart, life comes out. You have goodness in your heart, it comes out. Sometimes it's hard to defend. We want to defend ourselves so bad because it's been done wrong. And then because we're human. Hey, but what you're saying is what's inside your heart, you spoke out of your mouth. You know, the Bible says there's life and death with the power of the tongue. Nobody wants to say that. You know?
Boy, I tell you, I've heard that more than once.
I got a phrase I want to use on the air if it's okay, and
Please.
something that's so special. You know, I've done a little bit of studying about the power of the tongue. And the reason God, a holy, righteous God, doesn't honor what comes out of your mouth is because we don't honor what comes out of our mouth.
Right.
Now, we talk about, especially godly men, we pray through the power of our Heavenly Father. If we speak ill other times in our life, why would a spirit or spirits recognize our authority by the power of our tongue if we don't recognize what comes out of our mouth anyway? That's it. I mean,
again, that's that brush with the demon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly. But nobody wants to talk about it that way.
No, and for some reason there's excitement in being negative. There's excitement in being.
That's the flesh, man.
Well, you know what? When I get up and I praise God, oh, that's excitement for me.
People don't know that.
Okay.
People don't know it's fun and it has
I
the
get
same.
up and I dance and I praise God and I'm worshiping God. I'm excited.
Me too.
Okay.
We love it.
I get that energy built up in me. And here's what I told a preacher the other day. Well, I've been telling him a couple of weeks now. He said, Eddie, he says, what do you think it is? What do we have to do to keep people in church, to get them to come Sundays, to forget about hunting turkeys, because turkey season's open now. I don't know, man. I'm fixing to go turkey hunting myself. But anyhow, how do we get them to be consistent?
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and preacher, I love you, and I'm not going to say who you are. I looked at him and I said, you want consistency? You be consistent.
There you go.
Okay? You be consistent with the word, and you give your congregation confidence. You know,
That's right.
People sit there and they go, oh, the evidence of the Holy Ghost is speaking in tongues. Let me tell you something. If you don't have the confidence when you walk out of that church on Sunday to carry it to Monday, Tuesday,
That's
Wednesday,
exactly
Thursday,
right.
Friday, and Saturday, guess what?
You're going to fall.
You're going to flip and fall down on your face, and you're going to sit there and not have confidence. So preachers, I'm telling you, I'm not telling you how to run your pulpits. You're sitting there going, Eddie, who are you? Okay? I love my God, and my God has told me to share that it's confidence that these people are lacking when they walk out the door. Because if they had confidence...
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I've said this a long time. We're talking about,
There you go.
At least it's not me calling you.
There you go.
You know, I've always wondered, why hasn't this been a tool? And do you give an open invitation for anybody to come on?
Any church, any preacher is welcome to come
Pastor
on.
can come on.
Well,
I've always said, if you could use this as a format, as a launching tool for ministries here in town, you know, and that is where discipleship is. You know, we were all designed to be disciples. We talk about that, me and you do, and you know about how we've butted heads, and even though, and it's not the. Let me tell you something. Boy, are you sure I can say
I'm ready.
that?
Go.
You know, it's not the guy who's out drinking and partying and running around on his wife that's got something to worry about.
That's right.
He knows where he's going. It's the guy who sits on church on Sunday morning and has malice and adultery in his heart and everything and all these issues in his heart that has something, thinks he might go to heaven. That's the one you got to worry about. Because the guy, let me tell you, when you're living in the world and you know you're lost and you're living like you're lost, it doesn't matter. But when you're on the weekends, we're living like you're saved and you're living like you're lost the rest of the week. That's the most dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not to be offensive or brushful against anybody, but I'm just saying this as you know, as I witness to my friends and such. You know, I talk to some friends, and I love that phone, Eddie.
I do too.
I love that phone.
I got to turn it down though.
And but where do we? And that's one of the things. It's like, and we're sitting here talking about it. You know, I don't throw any rocks at anybody because I could have been stoned to death a bunch of times. But what I was doing is to give a picture of not pre-salvation and give a picture of post-salvation. That's what you're talking about. Yeah. Is to live. That's why I asked you. I want to know about, you know, keep it real. And I wanted the heart. I wanted the real deal out of you this morning. I want to hear it all.
Well, you know, people have a false sense of what keeping it real is. And some people believe that keeping it real is how many friends you have. Okay? How many?
I got a few.
Okay. How many friends you have? How many friends do I have on Facebook? Okay? And that amazes me. I can do a whole segment on this. But, you know, I've got over 2,500 friends. You know, that was a heck of a marketing tool that they use. And I've got like 2,500 friends, okay? Do you know how many of them I actually know? Maybe 100.
100.
Okay? Yeah. Maybe 100 of those people. And I actually know them. I mean, they are friends or they're acquaintances. And people build up this false social group, okay, of, hey, they're my buddies, they're my partners. I get on here and I can say things and do things, okay? But yet, you're just part of the manipulation. You're not real.
You know, I always want to ask a question is, you know, of all your friends on Facebook, if you were sick in the hospital, how many of those would come see you there?
Oh, amen, brother.
Nobody wants to, like, how many would, you know, you know, your friends on Facebook. Those are people, or you just.
Or if you need $1, I tell you what, if I could get 2,500, if all my friends on Facebook would send me $1 a week, $1 a week, hey, I love y'all, okay?
Hey.
Think about it. $1. All of you can afford $1 a week, can't you? Come on, all 2,500 of you send me $1 a week. That ain't gonna happen, okay? And I'm just kidding. Please don't send me $1.
Tell them to send me $1.
Yeah, send Bob $1.
Send me $1. Send it here to the station.
Well, I'll tell you what now, we're going to be talking about some changes coming up, and you can take that $1 and do something with it here in a minute. But anyway, Bob, that's why I say keep it real, okay? If you keep it real, your heart is real with God. And if you're real with God, you're doing God's work. Yeah. And if you're doing God's work, you're pleasing God. And if you're pleasing God, you're pleasing man. Because
That's
man
exactly
will look
right.
at you and say, you know what? You're a Christian.
Yeah.
Just like that man walked around to that preacher. What a story.
That is. Let me tell you something. A lot of people think we have to go out there and Bible pump to have a witness. A witness is a smile. People don't realize that. A witness is a kind word. Yeah. A witness is when there's a lady, David's is closed today. There's a lady that's been waiting on me waiting on us at David's. And
I know who you're talking. She's a sweet lady.
And you know something, I just want to, something I want to say. And
I got her button over here. I'm going to go push it.
Are you? And something about even, to a tip to somebody who serves you. Yeah. Are you going to cut them short on a tip? Because how about just give a little extra? Because you don't know what that little extra can mean to somebody else's life. And just, because we're so self-indulged with each other. And I'm going to tell you this, you'll sacrifice for the things you love the most.
And boy, I'm going to do it.
Woo.
I'm fixing to do it. Brother, first off, I love my God.
Amen.
Okay,
That's right.
I love my God, so I'm going to do the most for my God. Okay, second's my family, so I'm going to do the most for my family. Third is my job. My job is serving this community. And if I'm serving this community, I'm serving God.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking life into this community. We have great things in this community, Bob. You own a business in this community.
Yeah, I love
you
it.
have told me, and I'm not going to get into your business, but I'm just going to share it briefly. All right. Bob has told me that he's got several other stores around Alabama and Florida. This store here is one of his best stores, best producing stores. Okay. Speaking life into the community, speaking positive into the community. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean you have to publicly go out and beat it up.
When you said that, and I'm not just throwing a pun about the business, but we have people that come in, they don't have to sell.
That's right.
They don't need to sell. They said, well, they don't have to. And they said, what would this be worth? And we tell them it's worth their time or not. And it's amazing how many. And we had a lady come in with a whole coin collection, and Jim says, wait a minute, I want to be sure what these things are worth.
Is that the one that found them in the wall?
I think it was the other day.
Yeah.
There's a big amount of gold.
Yeah,
And then, let me tell you, it's amazing. Some of these old houses around here where people have stored stuff, it's a trip.
This lady came in, I swear I was there when she came in, her and her husband. They had been remodeling a house here locally, and they pulled some of the old wall down, and there's a box of coins and money, a dollar bill or paper money, and certificates, and she brought them to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to rip the walls.
And and Jim said, she left them with Jim.
Yeah.
And Jim went and researched them to get all the money out of the deal. And it was a blessing for both. And
she was amazed.
Yeah.
She was amazed. In fact, I think it helped pay for their remodeling.
I think so.
Or they went on vacation or something. But that's how blessings come, by the way. And see, when we're talking about God and keeping God real, we get blessed. You speak real, okay? You speak God all the time. Your business just is powerful behind God. Paige,
thank you.
All the people up there.
I love Paige.
Yeah, we love you, Paige.
We love you, Paige.
But you can see that, there's that preacher again. When I see you, I can see you walking across the road. Even if I didn't know you, I know you're a man of God. When I see you in a store, I know you're a man of God. When I see Paige walking down the road, I know a woman of God.
Yeah.
Okay? You have that. And oh, poor Jim. Okay. He's not here for me to say, there is another man of God.
I'm going to tell you something. Jim Burgess may have one of the greatest walking testimonies. I don't know if he'll ever talk about it.
I've tried to get him, and it's...
That I ever talk about it from a lifestyle of one way to turn. And let me tell you something. When you see a man at that point in his 50s and 60s turn and go godly, it's groundbreaking. It's unbelievable. He may have the greatest walking testimony there is and not even have to say a word.
Yep.
Because of his lifestyle. It's evidence of fruit in his life. And I'm going to tell you something. I love my partner. I love he's my friend. And I'm going to tell you something else. We're going to have a son on. Son wrote a book. We're going to have, I'm going to get him up here. Jimmy, when you get a hold of this, you're coming up here. He's going to get on this couch. I want you to see some of the things and what it is now. There's fruits, generational fruits that are appearing. I mean, that is keeping it real. And that is, you know, what it's about.
Well, Bob, keeping it real isn't about how many friends you have. Keeping it real is not how much money you have in the bank. Keeping it real is not how popular you are by speaking negative things about others or your community.
Yeah.
Keeping it real is speaking life. And the only way you can speak life is through God and through His Word. And you know, this community, I'll say it again. You hear me say it, and you say, yeah, he's just saying that. That's just routine. But I'm looking at the viewers here in this community that can see this. I love each and every one of you. I love my enemies. I love my friends. I love all my acquaintances. And if I don't know you, I love you. Because this community is full of God. And God just wants a moment to come out and shine. We can be so blessed in this community if we would reach together and hold hands and praise His name and smile. Don't let Gallup or some other news agency come into the community and say, hey, you're fourth angriest, unhappiest you know, state in the country.
Not here in Andalusia. We're going to make it real. Make it good.
We're above that. We're above that here in Covington County. And you know why? Because we got God in this county. Wow. I have seen some preachers out there that have got the most powerful messages that are real men of God. And they get out there and they really work hard. But preachers, I'm sharing this with you as a direct prophecy or whatever you want to call it. You got to give the people confidence. You got to give them confidence in order to be able to step out and do the things in life.
Man.
So, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come right back with more right after this.
Hey, listen, keep it real.
Keep God in it. We'll be right back.
Thank you. Hey, good morning. We're back here again in the Keep It Real, Keep God in It station. Bob Chavis sitting in the interviewer seat for Eddie Lewis, which is sitting here beside me. We've had an incredible interview today about what he's about what this community is about, and what a holy, righteous God can do in a community. For us wanting to keep it real and keep God in it. Back to see you again, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it. This has been really, you know, there's a switch over here that says talk. Okay? and it's like you just want to get, now I know how that guy across the street is, Representative Mike Jones. When he sits over here, he just gets it going.
Mike Jones?
He does. And,
okay.
The only reason I'm saying that, he's standing right there. Nobody call him up or text him. Okay. But we love him. He's a great guy, and he's coming on next, so y'all stay tuned for that. Bob, in closing this, if you don't mind, I'd like to say thank you first for coming on and being willing to sit down.
It's an honor.
You're going to be doing more of this in the future. And in fact, you know, there's some big changes coming to WKNI. And April 1st is the beginning. And then we've got some more that will be coming through over the next few months. And all I can say is that it's a great thing for this community. It's a great thing for me. It's a wonderful thing for my wife, Teresa. Folks, we give 120% to this station,
Yeah.
okay? And the reason we do that is because it's God's TV station. And we serve God by doing this station every day. It's all Christian programming. We try to speak life into the community through this TV station. And we're looking at making a couple of changes as we go along. And God's given us the opportunity to do so. And with that being said, next week we're going to continue to part 2 of the interview.
Wow.
You will be sitting there, and I will be sitting here,
Yeah.
and we're going to go into a little bit more of the detail of what's going to transpire. Folks, all I can say is this, okay? Because Teresa told me to hush, and Bob told me to hush. They don't want me spilling it all out at once, and you know I will.
Stop that. Stop.
You know I will.
Don't do it.
You know I will.
Don't do it.
I mean, I can't shush.
You know something, all I say is check back with us, check back in WKNI. There's going to be big changes in a great way, and there's going to be a lot of other things coming here that people are going to be stunned that will not just go outside this community, will go outside this state, from state to state.
And outside this country.
Outside this country, not just on streaming, on the internet, but a lot more than what you, and it's a group of godly men have gotten together.
Well, let
And
me
it's
tell you,
gonna happen.
God stepped behind WKNI.
Don't say too much. That's as far as we can go. Don't say
I
it.
can't say.
Stop it. Don't do it anymore. No, you cannot say. Mr. Easton, tell him.
One more thing. No, wait. One more thing. You can't just go out. You can't do that.
We do it all the time.
No,
wing
we
it.
don't.
We wing everything off.
Yeah, but we forgot something.
You know something? Before we do that,
You can't close. What? Which way? Up, down, on his nose?
you can.
It's almost like I can hear his heartbeat.
Oh, really?
Oh, hear my
Yeah,
heart beat.
his heart's palpitating. He's like, I'm in the hot seat. But, but let me just say this,
Yes,
okay? All right. This programming that we have here on WKNI is going to be 100%. That's not his heart. That's something in the room. I don't know either. But anyway.
It's our state representative.
Yeah, it's our
Heart
state
on this phone.
representative's heart going over there
Yes,
going
that
bum, 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 bum. Because he knows I'm fixing to put him on the hot seat. Remember that? What was it called, Mike? The cut and slash couch? Slash and cut? One of the mayors named it the cut and slash couch or something. You don't know. He never
Okay.
worried about that. But because he's always been honest, and he's another good man of God. But anyway, going back to it, folks, we are going to take leaps and bounds in the Western Hemisphere. How's that? Can I say that?
Yeah, that's that, but don't say
Okay.
anymore because
I mean,
see the.
we're not worried about whether our signal gets down here or over there. We're going to be talking about Western Hemisphere in a couple of weeks.
You know, actually, we won't say what kind. Well, we know it's going to be godly, but there's going to be programming that's going to be coming out of here that nobody is going to see it. We're just going to, and this. Let me tell you something. It's high end. It's. I need to be quiet
It's
now.
HD.
I need to be quiet.
Got new camera.
You know, but anyway, we're going to leave that there, so we'll have to come back and talk about it.
I'm going to have a nice suntan.
You know, when I come back, there's one thing that nice something. Hey, you know something? Well, it's about after
I am
10
gonna have a
years.
nice
After
suntan.
10 years, you deserve.
I'm pure white under these sleeves.
Listen, when I pull my
Have you ever
pants
seen
leg
me
up,
in short?
I don't want to see you in shorts.
All right, folks, we love y'all. Remember, okay, I just want to say this, Teresa. Folks, speak life into this community. Speak life into this state. Speak life into this country. It's easy to go out and talk negative. It's easy to go out and just be negative about your neighbor, negative about your business competitors, whatever it is. Speak life. Be positive. And let's not have Gallup or somebody post on the AP that Alabama's the 4th angriest, saddest state in the country.
Yeah.
That rips my heart out because I see people like you. I see people like Mike Jones. I see people like Jimmy Holly. I see people like Sue and everybody over there at Mike's office, over here at the courthouse, the judges. We got men of God that's sitting in judgeship. We got men of God sitting as a DA. We've got men of God all over this place. And we're supposed to be smiling because we got eternity. Next week, Monday, same time, same place. Remember,
Keep it real. Keep God in it. Stay tuned for Mike Jones to be on in just a moment with some more news. Thank you so much.